Right now, while you're watching this video, your body is trying to tell you something. Not through pain, not through an alarm bell, but through small, quiet signals most people scroll past every single day. A slightly darker patch of skin, a weird smell on your breath, nails that don't look quite right anymore. These aren't random quirks, they are messages. Most serious health conditions don't begin with a dramatic symptom. They begin quietly, showing up in small physical changes long before anything feels wrong. And by the time most people notice them, they have already been ignoring them for months, sometimes years, telling themselves it's nothing, it'll go away on its own, or it's probably just stress. Today, we're going through 5 silent signals your body sends before something bigger goes wrong, what each one is quietly trying to warn you about, and how to actually tell the difference between something harmless and something worth checking. Before we get into it, if this is the kind of health content you want more of, hit subscribe and give this video a like. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it costs you nothing. Now let's get into it. The first signal is in your nails. Healthy nails are usually flat or slightly curved, but if you notice your nails starting to curve downward like the underside of a spoon, or the tips of your fingers becoming rounder and the nail bed softer, almost like it's floating, doctors call this nail clubbing. It has actually been recognized as a warning sign since the time of Hippocrates. Clubbing happens when oxygen levels in your blood drop over time, often linked to lung conditions, certain heart problems, or issues with digestion like celiac disease. It's not something that shows up overnight in most cases. It builds gradually, which is exactly why it's easy to miss. There's a simple test doctors sometimes use, putting the nails of 2 matching fingers back to back. Normally, there's a small diamond-shaped gap where they meet. With clubbing, that gap disappears because the nail has flattened out against the finger. You don't need to run this test on yourself right now, but it's worth knowing it exists. If your nails look different than they did a year ago, especially if they're curving or feel spongy, it's worth mentioning to a doctor. The second signal shows up on your skin, specifically around your neck, armpits, or groin. If you notice a patch of skin turning darker and feeling velvety or slightly thickened, that's called acanthosis nigricans. It sounds like a scary medical term, but what it actually means is simple. Your insulin levels may be running higher than they should. When your cells stop responding properly to insulin, your pancreas produces more of it to compensate, and that extra insulin can trigger skin cells to grow faster in body folds, creating that dark, velvety texture. This is often one of the earliest visible signs of insulin resistance, sometimes showing up years before a doctor would diagnose prediabetes. A lot of people mistake it for dirt and try to scrub it off, which doesn't work and can actually irritate the skin further. It tends to show up more clearly on darker skin tones, so it's often underdiagnosed, and doctors sometimes miss it too if they're not specifically looking for it. The good news is that this one is often reversible through diet and exercise once it's caught early, which makes it one of the more encouraging signals on this list. The third signal is something people around you might notice before you do: your breath. We all know bad breath from garlic or coffee, but a change in breath odor that doesn't go away no matter how much you brush can be your body flagging something deeper. A fruity or nail polish remover smell can point to dangerously high blood sugar. A metallic or ammonia-like smell can be linked to kidney function struggling to filter waste properly. And a musty, sweet odor has been associated with liver issues. Of course, most bad breath is simply from oral hygiene or gum bacteria. That's the most common reason by far. But if you're brushing, flossing, and still can't shake a strange, persistent smell, that's your body asking for a closer look, not just a stronger mouthwash. It's also worth remembering that breath changes rarely show up alone. They usually come alongside other symptoms like unusual thirst, fatigue, or swelling, so it's the combination that tells the real story, not one sign by itself. The fourth signal is swelling in your ankles or feet, especially if it shows up in both legs at the same time and gets worse by the end of the day. Occasional swelling from a long flight or standing all day is normal, but when your heart isn't pumping as efficiently as it should, fluid can back up in your lower body because gravity pulls it downward. The same thing can happen when your kidneys aren't filtering fluid properly. A simple way to check is to press a finger into the swollen area for a few seconds. If it leaves a dent that takes a while to bounce back, that's called pitting edema, and it's worth getting checked, especially if it comes with fatigue or shortness of breath. One detail worth paying attention to is timing. Swelling that's worse in the evening and improves overnight often points towards circulation or heart-related causes, while puffiness that's more noticeable first thing in the morning, especially around the eyes, tends to point toward the kidneys instead. The fifth and final signal is something most people blame entirely on brushing too hard: bleeding or inflamed gums. Occasional bleeding from flossing too aggressively is normal, but gums that bleed regularly, feel swollen, or seem to be pulling away from your teeth are a sign of ongoing inflammation, and that inflammation doesn't always stay in your mouth. Research has connected chronic gum disease with higher inflammation markers throughout the body, and several studies have found it shows up more often in people with heart disease and diabetes. Your mouth isn't separate from the rest of your body, it's connected to it. So the next time you see pink in the sink, don't just switch toothbrushes. Pay attention to how often it's happening. If it's a one-off, it's probably nothing. If it's becoming a pattern, it deserves an actual dental checkup, not just a softer brush. None of these 5 signs mean you definitely have a serious condition. Your body isn't perfect at sending clear messages, and only a doctor can actually tell you what's going on. But noticing these small changes early, instead of ignoring them for months, is exactly how people catch problems while they're still easy to manage. If this video helped you see your body a little differently, do 3 things for me. Like this video so more people see it, drop a comment telling me which of these 5 signs surprised you the most, and subscribe if you're not already part of this channel. And if you know someone who's been ignoring one of these signs, send this to them. It might be the nudge they need. See you in the next one.